Hey guys, I'm wrthcrw, a professional Apex Legends coach who's worked with over 500 students across all skill tiers, both casual and professional. In today's session, I cover how most players fall just shy of dropping insane clips in 1v3s by utilizing properly timed resets, and how to make sure you can maximize your uptime to increase your overall damage by limiting your exposure to enemies, and, by extension, how much damage you take. If you guys enjoy the coaching content, be sure to subscribe and like the video, and if you want your own coaching session, be sure to check out the description below. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the video. So you told me specifically you need to fix your pathing really bad?
Yeah, so I have this little thing that I call being an idiot,
Okay,
and I do it a lot.
okay, I see.
I couldn't tell you a exact timestamp in any of these
That's
videos,
fine.
but anytime I die, you'll probably see it where we'll get entry damage and I'll just
Turbo feed?
and
Oh.
then I just turn into a death box.
Okay. I'll ask questions when I watch. I know what you're looking for. You know what you're looking for. Pretty easy to go over. I'll also just cover anything else I see. Okay. So we'll go ahead and get started. So are you usually playing Lifeline in these games or what? Or just like Anchor? Or are you feeling whatever?
Yeah, I've been lifelining.
Yeah, Lifeline's a good rank character, let's put it that way.
So like right here, it's like, why am I there? Like I am going for an off angle, but
you do that. We'll be in position.
and the fish is going for EMP.
I hit him 50 flash.
See, that's my issue. I hear the 1 HP and I'm in there.
He's right here.
Okay, I mean this wasn't the worst.
Yeah.
This one was fine, but I can definitely already tell how you're gonna get punished for it.
Yeah, it's like I always put myself in a position where like I have a good off angle, but what am I doing to get myself in position to do damage?
Yeah.
It's like it's just W key.
Yeah. We'll get another fight where you actually fight and don't just kill them because they die.
Yeah.
200.
Yeah, everybody's leaving. There's a Falcon already
Yeah,
somewhere there.
there's
Underneath.
200.
Yeah, EMP is 86. I still fight this out. I might be able
Yeah,
to
they're right here, all three right here.
Also, this POI fucking blows.
Nah, I couldn't get a
Yeah, you can get pinched here really easy.
I'm getting back up.
I could. Oh fuck. No, I didn't get it.
I think it's really a 30 if we like take too long on this.
Yeah.
So typically, I will say this is more a small criticism, and I don't think really a super fundamental issue. When you are going for plays like this, this is what I like to call non-traditional versus traditional methods of dealing. Traditional methods is just shooting your gun, pretty obvious. Non-traditional is abilities, grenades, any other way that you can kind of interact by killing people without actually shooting them. The main focus is that traditional is, you know, consistent DPS, at least relatively, while non-traditional is more space denial. It creates a big enough threat that it forces opponents to go away. Typically, when you can shoot your gun, you should, and when you can't shoot your gun, you should seek to use non-traditional. Here, when you're peeking something like this, I would prefer to see you, like, I see the vision with the arc star here, but the expected value of this is going to be relatively low, because all this is going to do is that if your teammates are trying to push this right here and you're in their back right here, all it's going to do is force them to flush back. So if they're going to go back, you need to push forward off this. You went to this for the sake of going for kind of like a, oh my god, a huge clip, a huge play, rather than not like an actual like structure to making sure you're understanding how to fight this properly. And this is kind of how I worry about the W keying, is that more so you don't really necessarily understand how to use these especially because you're playing Lifeline now, or like you're playing a character that doesn't have like really good fighting utility to at least take space and push up. You're more so you're more so using your resources here for like a non-issue, a non-manner. Like you don't need, like you should, if you just do 80 damage here, and then this guy tucks back in, and then his other teammate's like, oh my god, I should try and help, and then you do 80 damage to this guy. I mean, this is enough where your teammates are going to be able to collapse off that. But your arc star's damage is going to be 0 here, unless you land a stick. Which sure, it's gonna maybe hit for 200 at max, but like your gun is just better than that. Your gun can just do more damage than that.
Yeah, it's like guaranteed entry.
Yeah, exactly. So generally, when you can shoot your gun, you should. When you can't shoot your gun, don't. If they knew you were here and they knew and like you wanted to force them off the corner, that's a whole different story. But because they don't know that you're
Yeah.
peeking here, this is why shooting your gun here is preferred overall. If you want to go for a re-peek here to fight them and, you know, push them back so you can take space forward, this is okay. But for any purpose other than what you did here, this is okay, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I could. Oh fuck! No, I didn't get it.
You only really need to go for plays like that when you have like no reason, or like when you guys are like fucked or something. Like there's high risk. You don't really need to do something like that. And now your nade's been. You have no other nades either too, which also makes me concerned because you guys commented yourself that if you guys take too long on this, you're gonna get thirded. Not having resources like that makes it really easy for you guys to get stalled out, because if they have all their util and they're like an actual team that is sentient and plays the game and doesn't just fall over, they can buy time.
Don't think I can guarantee that about them, but
You know.
I think that's our entry damage. I think we go. Right in here.
see like that.
Yeah, what the fuck was that? Oh
Yeah,
my god.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's like
Yeah,
hell
you-
we got one down. I'm in there.
You-
and like TK's healing. It's like that's such a stupid
You-
ass thing to do.
You
My
started
flow of
fighting.
fights is off.
Yeah, you started fighting. You got in your car. You're like, oh yeah, I'm going down the highway. You went 50 miles an hour.
Yeah.
You went like, that's the speed limit. And then you're like, no, I'm gonna go faster. You went 100 miles an hour, 200 miles an hour, and you just crashed your car. Basically, it's the equivalent of what you did.
Yeah.
But
like overheated.
yeah.
Immediately.
the important thing for what I want you to focus on here is that there needs to be generally the natural idea of a flow that you need to get in. And there is always going to be. So I talk about this. I use this 4-step flowchart here for understanding fighting. I'm not going to go over all of it with you because I don't think you need it. I think you have enough understanding in how to approach the game. So info, plan, execute, reset. Right.
Yep.
I'm not going to go over all these. The main thing I'm going to focus on with you is going to be the reset phase, because this is the whole thing you're skipping, right?
Yeah.
So
It's like it's execute.
it's just info, plan, execute, execute, execute. Like you had
Give me a
info.
little too much credit going
Yeah.
back to plan.
Yeah, hey, go back to plan once. Your plan is to keep pushing and keep fighting, right? So
Yeah.
So let's make sure that we understand that with resetting here. I want to ask you, at this point right here, do you have to reset?
I should, because my teammates healing fish can like hold for us.
Okay.
Like I should be backing up behind that little tree, like shrub to my left and popping a bat, or like at least a cell.
Okay. You don't have to reset here. I want to emphasize that resetting is not just, it's not popping a bat, popping a medkit, popping syringes, whatever. It's not always a full heal.
Mhm.
A lot of, so I actually talked about this in my video that I'm gonna put on YouTube in like a day or two. But this is something that I want to talk about called tempo. This is an understanding of how to create pressure and then continue maintaining that pressure to threaten your opponent to win. In Apex, tempo is largely expressed through lethality, by how dangerous you are to the enemies. How can you straight up just kill them here in one way or another, right? So let's talk about your lethality on the 1v1 scale. In a 1v1, what matters largely is your HP, which you're not even cracked, by the way. I want to point that out. You're not even cracked.
Yeah.
Your HP is like okay, it's fine. You have a shotgun which has really high lethality at the cost of low fire rate. The main thing that you're missing here for a lot of your lethality is going to be the fact that you basically only have one gun. You
Yeah, 'cause
can.
I emptied half my ammo.
It's way more than half. You have like 5 bullets left. You basically are running off of no gas to continue this fight forward. You don't have to bat here. You don't have to go for a medkit here. In fact, in some respect, going faster here is better in case you get thirded. Because if you do clear all these people with taking 150 damage, it's better than to kill one person, start getting thirded, back up, like reset, not get the kills, right? Because you lose a lot of speculative value there with the kills and the loot that they would provide. And especially all the armor swaps too. Because if you don't kill them, you're using a bat instead of, using the armor swap, which you can't take with you, right? So here, especially, I want to emphasize that resetting doesn't have to be your health. It can just be your guns. you're using, if you want to continue fighting like this, you need to, straight up, you need to use different guns. You need to use guns that have higher uptime, aka larger magazines or less time to kill. SMGs are the worst gun to use for this. I see so many people swing like G7 SMG. It's awful. It's bad for the sake that once you shoot that SMG mag, you have to take a break from the fight. Because using a G7 in hipfire, I mean, it does hit, don't get me wrong. But is it reliable? I think everybody's going to agree with me when they say no in close range. Like, you can, like, 3-tap somebody, go 50, 50, 50, and just murder somebody. But you can also just have, you know, the marksman hipfire effect, where it just hits nothing.
Yeah.
And so, if you're going to use weapons like these, you can't structure your playtime like this. So if I have like Spitfire or like an L-Star here, I'm L-starring this guy, you know, maybe put on PK if my thing like gets close to overheating. And then I'm going to the corner here with my L-Star, shooting them inside with my L-Star, and then like, you know, continuing to snowball this fight, right? It's also important that when we fight, going back to kind of the plan and execute, right? Obviously, you want to, you know that they want to fight on advantages, right?
Yep.
Now right here, you go, I have a 2v3, right? You have a 2v3, and they just got EMP'd, right? So they're down 50 HP. Now, but if we take it on a 1v1 scale, and we go, hey, in a 1v1, how does your lethality compare to your opponent's, right? The main reason why swinging here isn't a bad decision is because you're in a 2v3, but also your lethality compared to your opponents is still really high. But they have really high lethality in comparison to you. Does that make sense? You both kind of strike an equilibrium here, and because they're defending, and defenders naturally have a higher chance to win on an equal playing field, just because you have to push into them, they win here. They win this because you don't really play around geometry very well. You do a lot very well mechanically because you, for example, I mean, you shit on this first guy with some pretty decent strafe overall. Some good use of thresholds and angling. Then right here, really good timed slide jump through the EMP to come push this space here. You just need to take 1 second here, reload your gun, rechamber your PK, and then swing with it to maximize your uptime. Because you can't shoot during all of this time, because you can't really shoot for all of this time because you didn't take the time to register where they were, you're reacting here. You're not anticipating. You just go, they're in here somewhere. I'm going crazy. I'm going buku bucks. You need to make sure that you are actually coming into this with a clear mind, good fighting, or anything like that. You can continue to fight here. Okay? Does all that make sense?
Yeah.
Especially because you also kind of timed it badly with the EMP. If you waited a second more.
I'm a little before it.
Yeah, because now you both just get stunned, and he's not stunned right here, so he can just shoot you for free as you slide jump forward. And you slide jump at him, not really proper movement, but like you're getting in there. Just wait like a second more, and you're fine. Or even more so, let's wrap back here. If you still had this arc star that you threw, you know, like a minute and a half ago, and you want to maximize how much you're doing this fight, just straight up kill this guy here, throw an arc star here, and then before it blows up, swing so you can take the space, and then they're like pinched in the back room, and they just got EMP'd, and they're killing them. Like, there's so much stacked in your favor here that it's super easy to win. Continue on to the next fight. Make sense?
Yeah.
This is not really surprising. This is kind of exactly what I thought would happen when you mentioned your problem here, is that you're just going way too fast. You need... Every fight is going to have ebb and flow. Every fight's going to go back and forth, depending on what... I want you to ask yourself what guns you're using and what environment favors what gun you have. When we're fighting in 1v1s, we still always want an advantage, even if we're in a 3v2. Even if we're in a 3v1, we don't want to die to that guy because we get thirded. It's basically over. Dying is the worst thing you could ever do. With SMGs, I typically advise people to take like a two-step when they fight. So for example, if you're playing around a corner, your opponent's out in the open here, you peek the corner, you hit like a 70 spray, you hit enough to declare an advantage, and then you swing off that, then you kill the guy with your SMG. Obviously, if you hit a 70 spray and can continue peeking, then continue to do so. You don't have to, you know, go back in, reload, then re-swing, right? You can skip steps, but the word is can, not should, right?
Dude, yeah.
It's very important to know when you should be doing these things and not just always be doing them. Okay.
Yeah, and I've been doing a lot better. Like after watching these back just by myself,
Mm.
like very quickly, I've like noticed this, and I think I don't know if I sent you like one from today, but like today ranking is like we get a knock and I tell my teammates, all right, we can calm down. They don't have a lifeline. They don't have a fucking Newcastle. They cannot get that res before we're in there. Like we can full reset before we need to like do anything. So I've been working on being a little slower,
That's good.
and it's been working out. So
Just remember, the first thing we do before anything else is always focusing on our damage output. If your damage output's like crippled for some reason, like your gun doesn't have ammo or anything like that, you focus on fixing that first. Either getting another gun, reloading your gun, whatever it may be. And then at that point, if you need to push, you can, but then you always heal after getting your lethality to max, okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh shit. I thought there was only one in there. There's one on the left. Nice. Last one.
Yeah, your teammates clean this up. Not really surprising considering how much you guys were winning that by.
Yeah.
But if you guys did end up getting thirded, you guys are kind of fucked here.
I thought there was only one in there. What a fucking lie.
Yeah, you didn't know. You didn't know anything. You didn't know where anybody was at all, basically. I can tell you can play the game so much more. This is so nice to see. You were so much more confident in how you're fighting and like making calls and stuff, and realizing how to actually structure your gameplay. Okay, like this is awesome. This is amazing.
Last one's out here somewhere.
You structured this fight so well. You played it. You anchored from cover here, and even when you had a lot of damage here, you were like, oh shit, there's 3 of them here. You didn't just turbo it. You let your Bangalore player do it, which is their responsibility. That's what they should have done here. Perfect. You guys executed this very well. All 3 of you guys kind of knew your role here, and Fishy getting crazy side shots here, going in to get an off angle. This was like you guys SEAL team like 3 of these guys. You guys just executed them in the street. This was perfect. That's what I want your fights to look like.
Yeah. It's like between all of us, we took what 70 damage on Fish, 50 on TK.
Last one's out here.
Yeah, and you guys like have all the swaps to play now and everything. Like you guys are literally fine.
I got both of the guns on this guy. Oh, no, you got one too?
I did not get both guns.
What?
I'm also just getting shit on.
Okay, you're telling me 3? Okay, you're
I love how my jump didn't work.
Yeah, you're like caught on the edge here. This is a little unfortunate, I'm gonna be honest with you. It's also really funny that you egoed the bin and landed on it later than him and picked up two of the 3 guns.
on this guy.
Yeah. That's what I try to do, is like I try to let them open the pill and then I just read everything.
Yeah. When you're playing like a situation like this, don't ever do that. Don't ever don't ever go for an evening jog and then turn to the guy. Like just slide jump out from the thing, and then go to fight him. It's like either he jumps off or you're slide jumping around and you're fine here. Because if you slide jump here, you actually get to control. Because like where you are right now, you can't control this angle at all. But if you're like right here, you can just walk forward and then pull this angle. But you can't do anything from right here. And then also you got caught on the wall. That's unlucky, but like when you're swinging this guy, no matter what, anyway, if this guy has a gun, doesn't have a gun, because inherently you're faster fighting this guy, it's easier for you to aim because this guy moves slower.
So can we talk about how they need to remove fucking Oh
my
It's the fishy
what the fuck? Fish, what the fuck was this? What the fuck is happening?
Who knows? Do I run at that nade? I'm pretty sure I run at that nade. Watch.
Pathing sucks.
I go the long way, but
pathing sucks, yeah.
Right in this corner.
Okay, it had to like register in my fucking pea brain that it was a nade.
Yeah, it's on your roof. Fall back.
Oh my god.
UF City, Lagoon.
Oh my god,
I don't like.
dude.
I'm so pissed that I lost that because I'm the worst player in the world.
Yeah,
Hello wrthcrw stream. I'm not a fan, I promise.
It happens. Notably, when I want you to get in the habit when you're playing a situation like this, because this is a pretty like wide open 1v1. Like either of you guys can do anything here, right? The only problem is you decide to do the same thing 5 times in a row.
Yeah. I just need to play that like either a lot tighter or just full aggro.
Yeah. Realistically, I would just like you to do something different. It doesn't matter what you do.
Yeah.
It's just something different. Like, sure, obviously, if you hit your shots, this would have been fine, but It's gonna happen.
On
It's gonna happen. Don't worry
Yeah,
about
it's
it.
on your roof.
I would have just slid over here and then ran and then try to get try to catch this guy off guard by swinging him again.
Evac. Guy's on our right.
Stand on
There's a
boss.
guy running around to the right.
You're in the open. You're in the open. You're
Yes,
in
sir.
the
There.
open. Yeah, we have to slide back here. Like, I'm gonna have to slide down. Places.
Fish subtly
I'm
telling me
looking-
I'm
I'm
a
looking with
fucking
server.
idiot.
Looking
Could
with
go
server.
back over here. Am I good?
Oh my god.
God damn you.
Yeah, just
Okay.
play this.
Okay. So I want to talk about this
This is
positioning
also-
here. When I talk about positioning, I should talk about a couple. One, high ground HD. I'm not trying high ground. I'm so lazy. High ground is good. Good. Two, cover equals good. If you can get both, that's good. High ground is not always 100% the right answer. The downside of high ground is that it causes you to be exposed more.
Yeah, especially from farther because it's
Yeah.
less of an angle.
Yeah, if you're standing on like a rock, like sure the rock is really good against this guy right here because it draws a line here that this guy can't see you over, angling, whatever, right? The important thing is that it's this guy over here, the G7, has a straight perfect line of sight of you no matter what you do. You have to literally leave the rock overall. This is what I like to call exposure overall. And exposure has a lot to do with how you path. Specifically, when you are playing the thresholds, you are aware, at least subconsciously, if not consciously, that you, when playing angles like this, so for example a door, it creates a linear field as to which the angle can be perceived at. So you can only be on the angle in one of these spots here to get a view of the opposite side. So if you stand here, you can see everything from like here, right? Basically all I'm saying. You stand here, you get the full gun. Problem is, or rather, I wouldn't say a problem, but the benefit is that it is a linear angle. For opponents that are close to you, this is really good because it makes it to where you barely have to express aim skill to be able to shoot them. So for example, if you're standing right here and the opponent is right here, it's really easy to just shoot them because SM1. It's like impossible to miss this, right?
Yeah.
The problem is that if they're over here, there's a lot of fine control that they can express in their movement, because if they move barely to the right, you now actually the amount of mouse movement you have to make is very different compared to here, because this is moving from here to here when they're close to you is literally like no mouse skill at all. You're still hitting them no matter what. If you're hitting them right here, you're still hitting them right there.
And like relatively, all they have to do is get a bullet through the door, and it probably hits me.
Yeah, exactly. You're bigger to them than they are to you, at least relatively, because of the angle. They can just shoot in one pinpoint precision, while you have to still express aim. And additionally, for you to be able to shoot this, you have to be
Exposed.
you have to rotate. Well, I wouldn't say you have to be exposed, because this limits your exposure inherently. If this is like a room, right? The only thing you have to worry about is the window you're peeking, right? Obviously, in Apex, there's probably like a door there and like a window here, and you have to worry about those angles, right? But those angles are again also linear. So you have to worry about this angle and then this angle. But if the door is closed, you don't have to worry about that. And if the window is like, if you know where the enemy can be at from this window, so you know there's like a stupid building over here that they can stand on and see you from, and you know that, or either you don't know that, you stand here, someone does that to you and go, oh, okay, I know about that now, and then you go, okay, I'm not going to stand here because of that, or you peek later, they're not there, and you go, okay, now I can stand here just fine, right? It's very simple to understand where you're getting shot from, right? This is the limit and the downside of being in a building, right? However, when you're playing on the outside of a building, we lose the ability for we lose linear angles, but that's completely fine because we need to express non-linear aim to be able to shoot people that are further away. We can't express linear aim on people that are further away because the relative speed and size is way smaller, right? So we kind of have to play outside to shoot people that are far away and constantly changing where they're going. So if they're rotating, for example, or they're like doing any form of movement that is not just I sit in building and shoot you for 10 years, because you know this guy's gonna peek right here, right? You know that this guy's done that like 3 times to you before. And because you know that, you can create a linear angle with this to just hold the point on where this guy's shooting you from. But if this guy is peeking you from here and here and like the window here and like over here, you can't really create a linear angle with this guy because he has because he has a lot of movement that he can express here, right? You can only really keep a linear angle on like 1 to 2 of these, maybe 3 of these, depending on where you are. But even then, if you sit where you are, let's compare how this guy can aim in accordance to you. You do not have a linear angle at all, right?
Yeah, no, he's got 6 windows, 3 doors.
Yeah, he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Like we'll call it 8. We'll round it to 8. Guy's 8, and for you, we have about 4 different places that we can peek. We have we'll call the top of the bus 2 because the bus is not super wide, right? It's kind of small.
Yeah.
You can see it in his peripheral, but we'll call it 2 different points. And then we have the side of the bus and then the other side of the bus. You really only have 4 points. He has like 8, right? It's going to be way easier for him to guess where you are, especially if he doesn't see you on top of the bus. Well, he can kind of guess where you're going to peek from. Now it's going to be with this side or this side. However, not only are you losing the angle trade on this, because this guy can peek you. If this guy is smart and isn't going to just peek you the same way every single time, he's going to be able to flex on you. Additionally, the problem is that if you play the top of the bus, you are exposed in a full 360 radius around you. So you can get shot from here, 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 you can get shot from behind you, you can get shot from a lot of places. You've kind of held up behind you, but someone could rotate like this and shoot you in the back, right? So in this situation, the puzzle kind of becomes, how do you limit exposure to you and maximize your linear angles here? The simple equation is just sit on the left side of the bus. Simple, right?
Yeah,
the left side of the
like
bus.
The window inside of it.
Yeah, either one. Inside the bus is pretty strong, but it's kind of hard to strafe around. So someone does jump you with no audio, you kind of just are fucked. But playing outside the bus, which is kind of my more preferred method, is that you get to express your movement on the angle a lot better.
Right.
You're in the open. You're in the open.
All right, so
right there, brain
yeah.
dead. Should have taken like cover immediately when I know somebody that like has any sort of angle on me.
Yeah. The thing about these linear angles specifically is that we can, let's just redraw the bus. And if you're peeking, if your goal is to peek this general direction, right? The thing is that if you want to peek specifically this part of the building, for example, what you can do is you can approach the angle far back here to get a straight line like this, right? I like to talk about cover. I like to use the idea that we use cover as an anchor and we build a radial off of it to understand the threshold better. Because if we draw the thresholds here, we always want to confidently cross these thresholds when we do cross them. So realistically, our peeking options are 2 things. 1, peek out like this and be instantly exposed in every direction like this. I'm not saying it's bad. There are times where you want to do it, but in fights like that, it's typically going to be a fight against somebody who's right here or like really close to you, not somebody who's going to be super far away. If it's like this and someone's super far away, and they can just all 3 shoot you at the same time because the point of contact for them is all the same, right? The other option here is you make your first point of contact a linear line with wherever you're trying to aim at, like right here. So you strafe further back using this to juxtapose your position, and so you're peeking like back here or something like over here to get an angle on this or get an angle on this here, right? We treat it as, or we pivot from the point of the cover here and kind of move in an archway like this around it in like a semicircle. So that way, if we have to peek, or if we want to extend our peek, so for example, let's say you peek here, and you go, oh, this guy's not right here, that's fine. I know my lines aren't 100%, but like you get the idea. If you go, oh, there's somebody right there, okay, well now you continue to extend the peek, you need to walk this way, you go, oh hey, there's a guy right here, and then you shoot on this guy, you like double tap him in the head, you hit him for 100, and he starts running back this way. You can start to pivot your movement this way, or if he runs this way, you can pivot your movement this way, right? You have options for what you can do here. You can do either one. It's important that you look at control like this, especially because when we have geometric objects, they can present cover to us on a lot more than just one scale. Bangalore is really good because she can take these open fields of nothing, smoke, and then now have an access point to play from with the smoke, right? This is what some of the best Bangalore players do. Obviously you're not playing Bangalore. I just want to use that as an example. But if you are doing this whole shenanigan here, and you're peeking this, doing whatever here, and then you go, oh my god, there's people on my side, you instantly you change your game plan to picking them to run forward here to LOS with these guys so they can no longer see you, right? And then now you can use this piece of cover, and if they're here somewhere, they can't see. Like the bus casts like a shadow that you can run behind and go over here. That was a lot of words. Did all that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. This is really important to understand, so you don't just approach angles the same way every single time. The later in a game you are, aka the more clustered you're going to be, so more focus is put on specific teams, the less exposure you want. So, okay, more control equals more exposed. You can afford to play more exposed the more control you have over an area. Now, the less control you have means the less exposed you can be.
I abuse the shit out of that in scrims.
Yeah, I mean, hey, let's create 2 examples real quick just to showcase this. You are zone, right? You're playing a zone comp. You hit the beacon, and wow, the zone pulls right where you are, right? So you're first in the POI, right? Do you have to worry about exposure? Not really. I mean, you literally know you're the only team here. You have to watch out for other teams that are coming, sure, and you should be conscious of this. But you can still afford to play in a very high exposure area as long as you can run back into a low exposure area, right? Now compare this to a zone 5 with like 13 teams alive, right? You can't do anything. You have to sit in like a small area and get like a small angle and like do this whole like protractor like angling shit, right?
Yeah.
You have to do this on everything, or else you're gonna get
Playing Rainbow Six Siege.
Yeah, exactly. If you peek a little bit too wide, you get 3-2-1 by a whole team and then die, right? It's really important that when you're rotating, you typically want to opt to balance both exposure and speed, because like running through the building is slower, because you have to go, around the door, through the door, whatever, right? But going over the top of the building, going over it is faster, but you are more exposed. But more exposed also means more info, right? Because typically, if someone can shoot you, they're usually going to take the opportunity to, especially if you're like going in between cover, which you should be. You shouldn't just be rotating out in the open. You should be going from cover to cover, cover to cover piece. Obviously not playing tactically, but just going in a straight line between all these things. If someone's gonna take the opportunity to shoot you, they probably will. And even then, if you compare how much info you get from staring out a window to staring out like a giant cliffside, you get way more on the cliffside than you do the window, because the window is very small, right? Having more info is always a better thing, because it will always let you make better informed decisions. And this is just not a safe spot. They actually use their grenades well here and then blow you up.
Could go back over here.
I'm just
And then-
calling
Grenade, goddamn.
my nade one.
We can.
140 path.
Oh, we're both dead.
Yeah, pop the bat on me.
Path dead. Path dead.
Nice, good shots. Oh my god.
Going for res? No, they're not.
Go, just walk up. Pop the nade.
Did you go all the way around?
Two on me.
Yeah, because in situations like this, I expect them to just keep running one way.
Staying alive.
1 HP.
Oh yeah, this building is funny.
Nice skip jump. Oh my god.
Nice. You listen to other teams.
Yeah, especially because you're exerting so much control here, you can literally just sit on the roof just fine. I want to recommend you to, instead of it is good to reinforce angles, but you shouldn't all 3 be reinforcing the same angle. I want to encourage you to try and either, if you don't feel comfortable, because it's very dangerous, if you don't feel comfortable taking a new angle because it's hard, I want you to encourage your Bangalore player to do that, and then you and Fish just reinforce the same angle together. Okay?
Yeah, and
Got him, I got him, I got
I feel
him.
like I'm pretty decent at realizing like when all 3 of us are staring somewhere. 'Cause,
Yeah.
like right here, you see us staring at that, so I turn and look around for the other team.
Yeah, the problem is here, well, like, it's not really a problem that you look around the other team, is this that when you take a new angle, what I'm talking about is you should take a new angle on the same thing that they're looking at. You shouldn't take a new angle to go look at La La Land somewhere else. Like, sure, this is good information to have. You should be doing this. This should be everybody's responsibility to make sure that they don't tunnel vision, don't get walked up on for free. But this takes 1 second to do,
Yeah.
Taking your angle can take upwards of 5, 10, 15 seconds to do, depending on what kind of angle we're talking about here, right? You should always be checking for this, or you should always be trying to make sure that that a new angle on the same thing can get you the kill. For example, if one of them cravers somebody and you have a side angle and this guy is 50 HP and you catch him because you're at his side when he's running back, perfect, right? Awesome.
We're chasing.
Okay.
Fuck.
Bro, huh? I got laser like
Yeah.
through
So like that's another thing I do is like
Okay.
at the beginning of this fight, why do I not just run with my
Except for
teammates?
the
Why am I going
sniper.
for the off angle? Like
They're resing him right now.
I always expect somebody to be doing something that they're probably not doing.
What?
Like right here, we have like an EMP on them. I'm like, oh yeah, these guys are gonna run out the back.
Why would they do that?
Yeah.
They can't really afford to do that. Your goal, especially for the role you play, your goal is going to be reinforce an angle, probably with your Bangalore player, because Fishy's usually gonna be the last one in there because she's on crypto, just drone things. And even if she is in there, she should be fine enough on her role. If she's not playing with the Bangalore, it's gonna be up to her to kind of make her own space fine, right? Especially if you play comp something like that, you basically always want to have somebody with your Bangalore because your Bangalore is always going to be the person that walks in first because of the double. If your Bangalore calls to swing something, they always swing it wide. You always swing it short because you don't have mobility. You don't really have a safety net in case things go bad, right? Your Bang has double time and smokes. So in a situation like this, you're getting too fancy with it. It's just better for you two to walk together here and play with your Bang to just have them swing wide and then have you reinforce the angle. And even if you can't swing in with the Bang, if the Bang swings and then runs out immediately because they got hit for like 100 but did like 100 damage, it's good that you re-swing that. You're essentially going to serve the role of a refragger. You're serving the role of your own independent fragger rather than trying to service as a refragger to your Bang. Especially when you're not playing Bang, it's kind of like the number one thing you kind of have to learn how to do. You can't just play solo all the time. If Fishy is with Bang, then that does open opportunities for stuff like this to happen. But Fishy dies really early. Unless you guys communicate a certain way for how you guys should be playing, you should kind of assume that you're going to reinforce the angle rather than play your own. Okay? And if the Bang makes a bad swing or something like that, you can reinforce it. You can hold it. You can do a lot of things, right? But just because you guys kind of give them 3 1v1s, it looks like, it's kind of hard to tell what happens to Fishy. And it's kind of hard to tell what happens to your teammate because I can't see because somebody is walking around. I can't see what's happening here. I don't know what's going on. But it kind of looks like you guys just give them 3 1v1s.
What?
Right? Because you're all just kind of trying to do your own thing.